This is a PSA about foster teens. Hello, foster care and adoption friends. My name is Lauren, and this channel is called Lauren Fosters, where we talk about all things foster care and adoption. And we're going to talk today about fostering teenagers. And why is it so taboo? Why are people so afraid to foster teens? Tell me. Like, I want to know. I might even wait till the end of the video where I say comment below, because I really do want to know. Why are people so afraid of fostering teenagers? So a little fun fact about me, I'm former foster youth myself. I entered the foster care system when I was about 12 years old with my older biological brother, who was about a year and a half older than me. And our first home was not the greatest fit for us as far as a placement goes, so we did end up in a second foster home not too long after we entered the foster care system, and I can't even give you the timeline on that. I'd have to ask my brother. It wasn't very long, because we did spend most of the time from the time we entered the foster care system to the time I aged out after my senior year of high school in one home. And this foster home was interesting because it was an all-boy foster home, and all they took was teen boys. So if you're looking at me and you're going, but Lauren, you're a girl, I gotcha. Thank goodness my foster mom and foster dad fought to keep our siblings set together. So when they looked for a home for a teen boy, they of course came across this home with lots and lots of rooms. It was a place that she could easily hit the state limit, which at the time in that state was 6 foster kids. And when they asked about the placement for him, they asked, would you mind taking his little sister? And I wish I could have been a fly on the wall to see what her answer was for that, because I know that she intentionally only took one gender, and it was in order to kind of keep everybody safe. Because here's the thing, as much as we look at foster kids like, well, aren't they brothers and sisters? When it comes to these all-teen homes, they do have to be careful that there isn't anything sketchy going on. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, they did say yes, and I am so grateful they did. And because of that, I got to stay together with my brother. And I grew up with at least 2 to 4 foster brothers in addition to my brother and I at any given time. Usually we were pretty maxed out. We usually did have a pretty full house, and I was, generally speaking, the only girl. They did have one other girl for like maybe a hair of time, but other than that, I was the only girl for almost my entire stay there. Now, here's another little nugget of that. Not only did my foster parents take mostly teen boys, but they took a lot of troublemaking teen boys. So like the teen boys they had a hard time finding another home for, or teen boys that had just gotten out of juvie and were about to be placed in a foster home, those teen boys were the teen boys that my foster parents took. So before you go, whoa, that sounds like it was a very dangerous placement, that kind of thing, I tell you what, growing up, it did not feel dangerous one little bit. All of my foster brothers were absolute gentlemen to me. I never had anybody be weird. And here's the thing, a little disclaimer, I'll probably say this in other videos, my experience being former foster youth is very specific to me, and if you talk to former foster youth, all of us will tell you our experiences are vastly different. So I am not trying to undermine anybody else's experience if they had a really hard time in an all-teen home, or if they were kind of mismatched with the opposite gender and it just wasn't a good fit for them. And my heart goes out to you guys, but in my particular case, that just wasn't the story. All that to say, it did not scare me away from fostering teenagers when we did become foster parents. Now, with that said, we did not start out as foster parents fostering teens. We had little biological kids ourselves when we started fostering. So of course, typical for a lot of foster parents, we wanted littles when it came to foster care as well. Now, that is not necessarily everyone's story. You will find foster parents with really young kids that only want to foster older kids because they don't want to double up too much on those young age groups. And because everyone's story is different, everyone's experience is different, I won't get too much into that, but we did start with kind of a younger age group, and as our kids got older, the ages we became licensed for became older and older as well. And of course, now here we are with our oldest biological kid being 17 years old, and as a lot of you know, we have 2 awesome foster kids, and one of them is a teenager and one is a tween. And I'll tell you what, if I said no to foster teens, I would never have had the opportunity to meet 2 of the coolest kids I have ever met in my life. So all that to say, if you're not considered fostering teens, consider it. It is not as scary as I promise it seems. Now, are there really hard kids out there? Yes. Are there hard kids of any age? Yes. Some of my younger kids are some of my harder kids. And a lot of that really hinges on the experiences that they've seen and what they've been through. But to be honest, even there, you can't really assume things, because the reality is I've had kids that have gone through some incredibly hard stuff. Like, they are my hero, and they're just all around really, really good kids. And I've had some kids that have had maybe more mild stories, but might look like on paper that they have a lot of behavior. So don't let the age thing catch you up too much. I completely understand and respect people putting restrictions on certain age groups for their home. I think that's incredibly appropriate to say, I only have babies. I don't know that a teen would appreciate being around all these babies all the time, so we're only gonna stick to babies. It's completely appropriate to say we're only gonna do teens. We're not gonna bring in toddlers, because maybe one toddler around 5 other teens just doesn't feel appropriate, doesn't feel right. And then I know that a lot of other families are kind of across the board, any age, any gender, and they somehow make it work, and that's so awesome for them. But this is a PSA. If you have been worried about fostering teens because you are worried that they're gonna be too troubled or too hard, I'd say at least consider it. At least keep it in the back of your mind. I don't know about you, but I kind of consider myself kind of a teen mom. We have kids that are ages currently 7 to 17, and I really am more in the teen mind frame. That's more my jam. I love my little ones, but I don't tend to like get them as well. My husband's the exact opposite. He really jams with the little kids and kind of like gets their little headspace and is super playful, and that's awesome for him. And I'm glad that we both have like our separate places on that so that we can work together. So if you're not really sure if fostering teens is a great niche for you, a good idea might be trying to find local ways to work with teenagers. And what I mean by that is coaching a sports team, or volunteer coaching, or getting involved in a local youth group, or looking for a local teen center that might need volunteers, and getting to know teens that way. Teen parenting is interesting because they're in this kind of place where they are still kids. They still have a ton to learn, but they want to do it all by themselves. They want that independence. So it's kind of learning, and my foster mom always was so amazing at this, both my foster parents, but just particularly my foster mom, finding that balance and being there for us and being supportive and teaching us what we needed to know, but especially before we moved on into the adult world, but also being kind of hands off and giving us the space to be ourselves and to have feelings and not feel forced in a conversation, and allowing us to be silly and just be kids at the end of the day. And that's really all they are. At the end of the day, they're just kids, just much bigger maybe. But anyway, comment below. Are you fostering teens? What's that experience like? Have you always wondered about fostering teens? Are some of your foster kids getting older and they're now becoming teens? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe. I always want to hear about your journey. I will share my journey from time to time as well. And it's been so nice chatting with you, and I will catch you next time. All right, bye. I want to tell you to think, I want to tell you to what? Our age what? Our age. So what? I can't really what? What's the word I'm looking for? You can't really. And as a lot of you know, we